Sorry about the pressure, bro, but you having to sit there and just talk.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
About time someone found you.
I know, 22, 23, 24.
Everyone's gonna think.
I'll be like,
all flowers around so they look pretty.
Yeah.
shut up. Come in late. You think I'm bossy? I'm gonna say that we're late tonight because
I was watching a show and
Because Amy brought the microphone.
you're like, look at my boobs.
What was
At
I
the
doing?
beginning. A few shows ago.
Oh, how embarrassing. The things I do on the shows are too
Are we on? Hey guys, and welcome.
Welcome to the Late Show.
The Late Show.
The Late Show with us because Pauline was late.
I wasn't actually late at all. I was on time, but I got stuck outside.
Actually, we had technical difficulties, but we got it sorted.
Yeah, that's because we have an awesome producer who is absolutely amazeballs. So welcome to the Impact Show. This is the show where we impact your life and impact your business.
That is very cool.
I am.
Have you rehearsed that?
I am Pauline Stockhausen, and my co-host is the famous and amazing Natalie Tolhopf. Hey Nat, how's it going?
I'm actually just going to edit this quickly so we can share it across the bandwagon.
All right, so we're sharing.
Should we go to intro?
Yes, absolutely.
Tiny peeps, can't wait to chat.
I got a stiff neck.
Hey, how do I share it?
You would think we're professionals. We have been doing this for so long, and I still can't remember which camera am I looking
You're
at?
on the red.
No, I'm on the boom. You would think we're professionals at this by now, but still we're terrible.
Honestly,
It's almost like we're getting worse. Do you like
we're about 20 shows in and we've got no better.
we feel like we're terrible. Anyway, once again, welcome to the show, and thanks for bearing with us. We have an exciting show tonight. But first, Nat and I love to talk about our week. So, Nat, tell me a little bit about what's been happening for you.
It's really funny. Every time we come on the show, I always go, yeah, this has happened this week. And I get to showtime, I'm like, what have I done? What have I got to share? But, once again, it's been crazy week. Fun week, crazy week.
Yeah.
Nothing new to share, actually. As soon as producer Andy's ready, I'm going to share with you. You've lost my mic.
Okay, so that's great, Nat. So what we're going to talk about is myself, because I'm so good at that. So this week, I'm really excited because I did my first MC event. So I MC'd the Bailey's Make-A-Wish Foundation fundraising luncheon. So it's kind of funny in the studio as our producer walks around. So I was really nervous. It was my first MC, but it went really, really well. And the people in the room were so amazing. We fundraised $17,000, which was great. And I just want to do a shout out to Kirsty as well as Mel, because you guys put on an amazing event.
I'm going to go do that video.
And the reason why we're a bit disorganized is because I was a little bit late because I was speaking.
A little bit.
I was speaking at Future Whangaparoa, and I was
cool.
speaking to the business owners about how to brand your business online, and what an amazing bunch of business owners. Like, far out, blew my mind. They were amazing, absolutely brilliant.
Hey, well done on raising that amount of money.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
And the fact that that was my first MC event. So.
I'm so surprised. I totally thought you would have been like MC hammering it out way before then.
No, I've never MC'd. I've
Really?
always just
Keynote.
spoke, keynote speak and stuff like that. So I loved it. It was really good. I was like more nervous doing that than I was at anything else. So.
I'm a little bit jealous that you got to go to the Whangaparoa Future, because
Future from
I would have come, but someone had to run the show, get the studio sorted, make the water. Like,
I know.
you know,
I'm
it's
so lucky I have
really-
you. So lucky. Where would it be without
lucky
you?
for the producer Andrew has batteries who could fix my mic. So thanks everyone for caring
Yeah,
about
so
that.
we're about to get stuck in.
But what have you got happening at the moment, babe? You've got some really cool stuff going on. We've just done some new Facebook ads training. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so last week I ran my first online Facebook ads 101 because I'd never done it before because I've always worked in the corporate sort of, and I didn't want to do the how-to. But so many people were asking me, so I thought, well, I'll do a one-off. And I was so good. So many people.
You know, you just blow your own trumpet then,
No,
eh?
I didn't say I was so good. I said it was so good, but I was so good.
Yeah.
But it was really good. So what I did was I did the Facebook 101. So it really taught people like how to set up the ad, what was the difference between the different ads, and you know, for real basic, for people who just have started out on Facebook. And then I turned the online training into a video training.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
And it's been selling all week.
But when you sell, you sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly, before Nat goes into her little sales, because we know she's all about sales. But so I've been working today, and her stuff has been coming up. I try to hide it, but you know. Anyway.
Good
and then
try. I
thought
think
to
everyone's
myself-
trying to hide it.
So I was watching all her content, and I was thinking to myself, sales. Maybe I need to go to that. So I video messaged her, and she's like, seriously, Molly? You know everything, you don't need to come. And I was so hurt.
You were like, I've got FOMO. I was like, hashtag you know what to do. Go fucking do it.
Yes, I do have FOMO because it's going to be at the Beehive.
Yeah, the
but
Beehive's going to be cool.
Anyway, tell us about it. I'm excited.
So I finally decided, taking the plunge into actually asking people to give me straight up video testimonials from a workshop. And it's 101, we all know to do it. But usually it's a timing thing at the end of a workshop to ask people to come and do it. So I went out to Whangarei. I love going out to Whangarei. They've got an amazing community up there. I did the sales workshop to a group up there, and they've given some wicked cool feedback. And I've made a little video for you, and hopefully Andy's ready with the video and he can pop it up. No, he's not ready to pop it up. We will come back to the video. But I said to them, what fears do you have about coming to a sales workshop? People, even just to come to a sales workshop, because they don't want their friends, their family, or their audience to see that they're going to a sales workshop.
That's so...
It's a real block, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
The thing is, I find that business owners are like, I have a business, but I don't like sales. It's like, well, how are you going to sell if you don't understand how to sell?
Yeah.
I find that's a block.
I saw all the women that I attract, they see sales as pushy, sleazy, in your face, and trying to sell to people who don't want their stuff. And so to be seen to come in along to improve in those areas can actually be a really, really big block. So we're ready to go with the video. So enough of hearing me harp on about sales. I've done a little quick video which will be popping up on your screen. Yeah, it does have audio. We're having some wickedly awesome...
No?
Oh, yes, it is, look.
No audio.
So, tonight is really funny because we're having huge technical... Have you noticed people...
I think it's because of the rain.
Yeah, let's do it on the rain.
It's the rain. Andy, our producer, is amazing, and things happen because remember it was raining last time we had
Yeah,
technic.
that's true.
Yeah.
And when I got here, it was all ready and all chilled, and then all of a sudden we're about to go live and the whole thing breaks. Hey, but that's really good business lessons though, right? Is that shit goes wrong. No matter, we're so prepared. The notes were done. I was here early. P got here. Our guest was here. Andy has been here since 6:30. And I think that's the really cool thing about biz is that you just have to
It doesn't
roll
matter.
with it.
roll with it.
Anyway, peeps, there's an Auckland Sales Workshop coming up. No word of a lie. There's 15 spaces and 5 spots went in the first hour of it putting up, without sounding like a wanker when I say that.
And I want to join. And I will just say, yeah, I'm banned. But I will say that it's always good to go back to the basics, especially if you've been in business for a while. I know you're 101, but I remember when we did the training, the business mastermind, even though we've learnt it and we've been in business for quite a while, it's always good to go back and remind yourself how to go back into those fundamental foundation things. So even though you've been in business a few years, I think you should join. And it's a shame because I won't be there.
I love it. You're so funny, P.
Fear of missing out.
Hey, don't you have another training coming up? You were doing Facebook and then you were doing something else.
Yep, tomorrow I am doing, thanks. Tomorrow I am doing a training. It's on how to design your own social media strategy. So,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, so I've got quite a few people booked in. I don't know why I didn't do these sooner.
I'm sorry. Are you selling, Pauline?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know. I'm loving it. It's so good. I mean, yeah. Anyway. And then so tomorrow is how to design your own social media strategy and what that looks like and what a strategy is. And, it's getting all your values and your pillars, and I teach you how I do it. And then the following week, I'm doing a training on podcasting. Because I've had so many people ask me how to set up a podcast.
That's cool.
And
That's so obvious.
I haven't even released the sign-in link, and I've already had like 5 people sign up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I just mentioned, it's amazing what you can do when you sell on your Facebook page.
No, but let's actually talk about. It's actually about selling. I don't know. It's so cliche. Selling the right thing to the right people, and often people who buy from you will be people who have bought from you before. So again, it's the basics of business 101. It's harder and costs more to try to sell to new people. It's about looking after and servicing the people who are already around you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's been great because last week I had past clients who hadn't been with me for years come back and do the training, so that was really, really good. So it's kind of cool. Like I'm cruising. I'm only doing this for a few weeks because then I pick up this new contract. So the new contract starts the following week, and then I'm back into full business, which has been hard. Like not last night, but the night before, I worked till 10:30. That's the first time I've done that in a while. It was a shock to the system.
It'd be a shock.
It was a bit of a shock.
Hey, so audience, we need you tonight. Bring your questions, bring your comments. You're going to be really excited with our next guest because I don't even know how to introduce this next guest because I feel like I need a whole freaking program because there's so much amazing stuff to say about you. But this is the type of person that our guest is tonight.
Yeah.
The first thing she does when she walks in is, I've got a gift for you guys. And turns up with things for us. So you can already see that her heart is huge. It's so freaking big that when you meet Amy McAuley, you will just want to
squeeze
sniff her hair and do strange things. So just Amy and I are really good mates, I've got to be honest. That's why we have a lot of colloquial fun, and there's going to be a lot of fun on the show. But I first met Amy at a Catherine Newton event where actually I first got to know Catherine, and Amy stood up and shared her passion around power hoop, and I just remember the vivaciousness, the passion. It was the passion for me that hooked me into Amy, but purely the kindness from her heart. So I always get quite emotional when I introduce my friends because it's so honestly, you're so endearing and I love it. So Amy here is literally changing the world through her power hooping, her Happy 100, through her Being Amy blog, and a heap more. So her story is Frank. That's who Frank is.
Oh, please.
We're making a joke.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
So we would love your questions. We're going to be touching on some freaking gripping topics that Amy has been through, and we wanted her to come on tonight to show you that it's all a journey. But enough from me. Welcome, Amy, to the show.
Thank you.
It's horrible to have you here.
I know, it's awful being here.
And we clashed, and we were like high-fived, clashing. You're a little bit too far away.
Okay. Pull me closer, baby.
Now, I did say to our producer Andy that when you came in, not to be worried if I called you Fanny Ballbag, because you're Scottish and that's actually a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Someone's sending angry emojis.
Oh.
Angry
Because
emojis,
they
get off.
love you.
Ames, kick us off. Tell us who you are, how you got to New Zealand, and then give us the Power Hoop story, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so
No pressure.
what was the first question?
How did you get here? Like, obviously, how long have you
By
been in
plane.
New Zealand? If you flew here.
Yeah. Get to New Zealand or get to the studio?
Yeah, tell us
How you
how
got
you
to
got
New
to New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Well,
You're
about
so cute.
20 years ago, I met, no, it's more than that actually, because it'll be our anniversary of 20 years ago. I met a lovely man about 22 years ago, and he was from New Zealand. I met him in Australia, and we went back and got married over in Scotland and made a vow to each other that we would move to New Zealand very quickly. And then 17 years later, maybe it's time.
Are you Scottish, by the way?
No. Yeah, of course I'm Scottish. But I've lost my accent. Can you not tell? No.
It's a strong... Okay, audience, does she still sound Scottish? Give us some feedback.
So we moved here about 6 years ago, and with our family, we've got 3 children, and we moved here. Nigel's obviously Kiwi, so he's got family here.
Yeah.
And yeah, we set up home in Bucklands Beach and have been here ever since, loving it.
Only 3 years ago.
6 years ago.
Oh, 6
yes,
years ago.
6 years
Not
ago.
long
yeah.
though, really, when
No,
you
it's
think
not,
about
not that long, no.
So when you came, did you know many people as a mum with 3 young kids? How
No.
did you start a community and get to know people?
So I didn't know anyone apart from Nigel's family, but they didn't live in our community. One person actually, I've got a friend who lives near us. So yeah, it was quite daunting moving into a brand new area, brand new country, and so yeah, like I went to I met some mums through the school, and that was really cool because obviously the kids were quite young, so that was a good way to meet people in the kindy. And then I met people. I joined. I was quite drawn to this church. And it was the Salvation Army Church, and I went along there, and it was to be there that it was to be the venue that I was seeking to start my power hoop classes. You see, I discovered this amazing exercise back in Scotland just about 7 years ago, and just fell in love with exercise. And in the training, I just had this bit of a light bulb moment. No business background at all, but just thought, gosh, I'm moving to New Zealand. I wonder if I could bring this concept over to New Zealand. Again, it was just like, it was a big, massive dream, but so we talked about it and brought all these hoops over to New Zealand, and they sat in my garage for about 6 months, staring at me every time I went into the house, going, hello, are you ever going to use me? But I was so scared to start. So I guess when I started my classes, that was really when I started to integrate into my community and started to meet lovely people.
So you say that you hadn't had any business experience prior to Power Hoop. What did you do as a career before Power Hoop?
So I was a recruitment consultant, and the funniest thing about being a recruitment consultant, I think they hired me for the village. I was like the class clown, and I think they only paid me to keep them entertained in the board meetings. Because I certainly didn't bring any money for them, but I think they just liked me just to keep the humour going in the office, and so it was definitely not a job for me. And then I trained as a life coach, and that was when I was pregnant with my second child, and that was something that I was really, really excited about. That was my passion. It was like helping people, and so I just played with that for a few years, and I helped some ladies and you know, very minimal pricing, but I just got out there to get experience in coaching. And then I got a job in a gym of all places, and that's where I discovered my power hooping. So yeah.
So I've been advertising the show that there's some really big topics. So let's just go straight into the person who you were and your story, because I know that there might be people looking at you now going, what do you mean you've had, look at you now, what do you mean you've had troubles?
Yeah.
Like, people need to know our history. So I'd like you to tell us about,
Yeah.
you know, you put up a picture today on your Power Hoop page of Amy on the couch. So just talk to us about Amy on the couch.
Sure, of course, I'd love to. So it goes back a long way, but I for many, many years suffered from an eating disorder, had bulimia, and that started in my kind of late teens when I moved out of home and went to Edinburgh, and developed an obsession with my body, and I guess just started to develop this horrific eating disorder. So yeah, like I just had a very low self-esteem, and I used alcohol to help soothe the pain of the eating disorder. So I drank like a fish.
Can you imagine? Isn't that very
Like,
Scottish?
seriously. I mean,
And there'll be certainly plenty of people that have known me in that area of my life. And I decided about 8 years ago, because I was a mess. Like I could talk here all night about some of the scenarios that I found myself in. But I just decided that alcohol was just absolutely not for me anymore. So I've gave that up about 8 years ago. And thank God, because it was one of the best things I ever did. But I did drink really copious amount, and it just didn't work for me at all. There was some I could. Oh,
Do share,
okay,
share.
I'll share the most embarrassing one.
Yes, do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Only
yes.
if you want
So
it.
actually, anyone bring popcorn? Did you bring popcorn?
So it was after I had my third child, Max, and I guess like I'd got to that stage of my body again where I just didn't love it. So I had restricted the eating, and we were going to a good friend of ours for a New Year's party, and had I don't think I did have copious amounts of drink, but I had way too much, and did my usual, because I either burst into tears or I would fall asleep or I would just be on the table dancing. So this particular night I think the tiredness got me, so I did my usual. I did my little escape and went into the toilet. This was a massive big party, and I had the big Spanx on as well. And so I got to the toilet, and I don't remember any of this, but I pulled it all down, and I was sitting on the toilet and I fell asleep like mid-toilet. And so
Oh, you're a babe.
I got carried out the room, and there was a whole little bunch of people once they finally broke in and got me out. And that, I think the next day, that was a real turning point for me, because I just lay there in my bed totally ashamed of myself and couldn't get out of bed, just hating myself so much. So that was a real turning point in my drinking. And so years of suffering, postnatal depression, just self deprivation. It was myself. It was the things that I was doing to myself that caused me to feel really low. The bad eating, the lack of movement, no good habits at all, really. And of course, I'm going to end up feeling like crap.
How do you go though from having addictions, food addiction, alcohol addiction, and then I know it's a philosophy that we can take a bad addiction to a good addiction. So running, exercising, eating well. Do you think though that, and I have had addictions too. Yeah. So I'm also aware of all of a sudden I'm all or nothing in no sugar, or all or nothing in no caffeine. So tell us about how that other extreme of wellness has been in your life.
Yeah. So I guess in a way, because when I started to bring some wellness into my life, like the first thing was exercising, I got this dose of natural endorphins. And so up until then, I'd been given antidepressants for a long time. That's what I was relying on to keep myself constant. So the endorphins really hit me hard, and so I got really addicted to that feeling. I was like, wow, this feels awesome. So I used to use exercise as a punishment, and that's how I used to do it. I used to, if I go swimming, I'd have to do 100 lengths or 200, I'd have to really push myself. When I discovered power hooping, it was like I finally found something that was fun and non-punishing. So I guess the endorphins was the first link and the first hook. And then after I started exercising, it made me start thinking, and I think that's the thing with habits, it's like it leads on to other things. So I started to look at what I was eating. And then when I started to introduce better foods into my life, I couldn't believe the difference of how I felt. Like I never understood that the depression that I had was a direct link of what the food I was putting in my body. I never knew that. I didn't know that sitting on the couch for hours on end was making me depressed as well. So I thought I was just like that. I thought that's how life was going to be, and I thought that's just how I'm going to live the rest of my life. And relying on antidepressants and kind of just getting by. The outside exterior me was definitely a lot bubblier than the inside, so there was a massive mismatch. So I guess what I did do with over the years and over the last 6 years is I've become quite, I wouldn't say obsessed, but well, maybe I am, because I love the feeling that I get every day. Like, I used to live my life where probably about 20% of the time I felt really good, but the 80% of the time I didn't. I just felt like, but now I feel about 80% of the time, maybe 90, good, really good. And I'm like, I want to feel like this more, so I look for more things that I can bring into my life that make me feel that good and show up the best version of myself. So all the sort of self-improvement, the self-development over the last few years, I feel that it's like I've been shown the darkness and now I'm shown the light, and it's like now I've been shown the light, I feel like it's a drug in itself. And so it feels like my passion. I want to share that with other people. It's like, I want to help other people feel this feeling, because it is absolutely possible to move away from that place in your mind where you don't feel good about yourself. It is 100% possible.
I really love that, because you have come from such a background of, not being happy with your weight, not being happy with yourself, being, having eating disorders, and it sounds like you're like, it sounds to relate like you're a drunk, you were this, you were that. But, I understand why you wanted to bring Power Hope to New Zealand. Tell us, though, from a business side, what it took. Because, Power Hope is now national, and like everyone knows Power Hope, right?
We've got 50. See, me, I was just this little girl with a big dream, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I guess the last 6 years have been an incredible adventure, and I wouldn't change a thing about the experience that it's been. But the biggest thing I would say, it takes me back to that when I was telling you about those hoops sitting in my garage.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I was petrified of what people would think of me, that people wouldn't enjoy these classes, that I'd wasted my money investing in these hoops. So I was finding excuse after excuse. I came home every day after dropping those kids at school and went to bed. I was like, I've still got jet lag. 3 months later, I've still got this jet lag. I need to just get over this first. And Nigel would come back from work. He's like, so how are you getting on? Have you found a venue yet? Or I'm like, nah. I'll start soon. Like,
that is funny.
I was procrastinating like you wouldn't believe, because I was petrified. And like I said, when I went to find this venue, I found it, and the universe started to conspire, and it started to bring people in and started to create events happening. And I guess the biggest lesson I've learned is stepping out that comfort zone. It has been a massive step. I could never speak to more than 2 people at one time. So I'm about to teach an exercise class. I'm going to have to get out of that fear, like, of public speaking. And
how many people came to your first class? This is really important for me, for you to share this, because so many people are like, Nat, I had no one come to my webinar. I'm like, woohoo, you're on your road to success. You've got to start at zero.
So the first class, here's the thing. The first class I had 15 people, and that's because I literally rallied up all the ladies that I'd met at church and said, you're coming to my first class. I don't think they charged for them. I hope I didn't. Like, they think they came for the first class, and that was it. So I kind of forced people to come along. And then the class went awesome. I thought my heart was just going to jump out my throat. I was so nervous. It was the most terrifying experience. And then I created another class for the following Thursday, and I had all my hoops lined up. I had my music. I was pumping. I was ready to go, and nobody turned up.
Wow!
Not one person. Not one person. And I was like, I think I need to work on my marketing plan.
Can you just draw us a picture, though? Like, you had no one.
Not one.
And then now I want you to draw the picture of how many instructors around New Zealand and how many come to your classes.
So my dream was to bring power hooping into lots of communities. I run 9 classes a week. I think it's 8 or 9.
You personally?
Yes. Well, I've got instructors. And I've got instructors that run. I used to run 10 a week myself, but that became a little bit too much. I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth for that. But I've got a couple of amazing instructors who run classes for me as well in my community. But I've got about 8, I think it's 8. That's ridiculous. And then, but we've got 15 communities around New Zealand now running their own classes. So, that first step was probably the most important step in the business, because it made me then take the next step. Because already I felt obliged to keep them going, because the girls that had really enjoyed that Monday session, that didn't turn up for the Thursday session, but they were going to come to the next Monday session, I felt obliged to do it for them. But also, like, I had to, now I'd started it, it was like boom, boom, boom. And you wouldn't believe the serendipity moments and the amount of coincidences that happened since then, and things that happened to help make that momentum build and build and build. And I've never, ever, ever in that last 6 years ever woken up without a passion in my belly, without a fire in my belly to make that work. Like,
Wow.
I am so passionate about it, it's unbelievable. But the journey hasn't gone how I thought it would go. Like, so many twists and turns have happened since then. I could not have predicted half of the stuff that has happened as a result. But the most important thing was to take that first step and trust, and to actually believe in yourself enough to know, and it felt right, and it was, you know, it was scary, but it felt right. And my gut feeling was telling me it was right. So a lot of intuitive stuff going on. But the other thing with the business has been the amount of self-development I've had to do myself.
And imagine if you hadn't done that health development and you were still binging and drinking.
I wouldn't be authentic.
You'd have been a drunk power hooper.
I couldn't. The thing was, when I used to coach people, I used to coach them from textbook. I wasn't coaching them from a place of knowing. So now when I'm coaching people, I feel like I'm authentic, and I can literally share what's worked for me. So I feel like I'm able to really stand in a place of, well, I know it does work. This stuff does work. When we first met, like you say, 4 years ago, and with Catherine Newton, that was really when I was first introduced to all this I couldn't believe that. Why do you have to do all this self-development when you're building a business? I don't understand. But it's crucial. It's like you have to do all the work on yourself, and then your business will grow and grow with you growing.
So tell us about that expansion, actually, because it's now more than power hoop. You know, like, I can imagine you'll be in front of people, you're seeing the impact that they're making. Maybe they would come up to you and go, how do I work with you individually? I see the impact you're making. Tell us
So I do all sorts of things. Like, I run, I do face-to-face coaching, and I absolutely love that. I love seeing the transformations.
So
of my
life
coaches.
coaching?
Life coaching.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I do obviously work with the people. I do a lot of online work as well with people who are looking to improve their lives. I've got a Happy 100 kind of Facebook group where people are bringing in more stuff into their lives now, rather than waiting until it's too late, or, you know, waiting until they're less busy. It's bringing that joy into their lives now. So I do a lot. All my work is around helping people make the most and be the best they can be in their life, and to show up, the best version of themselves by taking more care of themselves, by investing in their health and well-being and their happiness. So it's the whole thing.
It's awesome.
That's amazing. So if you are watching, welcome. If you have any questions for Amy, please write in the comments and ask us anything you want. Ask Amy anything you want. So Amy, do you, from your vision in the very beginning, was it to go national the whole time, or was that something that you never really concentrated on the beginning? You just wanted to do your own thing?
It was actually more interesting. Like, it was always the thing that I had when I've had that moment in the training. It was like, I want to bring power hooping all around New Zealand. So that was the big dream. And I didn't realise that the community thing in Howick was going to be so big. And so when I started doing my classes in Howick, I thought I was only going to run them for a few months and then start focusing on training the instructors. But what I realised very quickly in the Howick community was the community that was building up, and the people that were coming, how much they were getting from that connection with other like-minded people. And we were doing other events. We were doing walks, Tongariro crossings, Santa parades, parties, and it became a really close-knit community. And so my heart and soul is still in that community. But what makes me drive even more forward is, because I see the magic happening in my community, this power hoop is just like a tool. It's like a tool to bring other communities together. There's so many people that were living in our community that were detached from their own people. They didn't know anyone in the community. They had children that were grown up, so they didn't have anyone. How are they going to meet people? And this was perfect. And it was fun, it was light-hearted, it was something different, and it seemed to attract, as like attracts like, it sort of seemed to attract kind of those kind of people. So the big vision was always the taking it around New Zealand, but the community itself grew so much that sort of became the thing that was almost going to attract the other people around New Zealand to do the same thing and create that kind of, and that's happened. These other amazing instructors have created very, very similar communities in their place, so it's awesome.
Ina Neil says you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Ina.
And that she loves you.
I love you.
Isn't that nice?
Who said? I want to know who said that angry emotion.
I don't know. I'm not
We'll
sure.
find out.
We'll
All you
find
gotta
out.
do is click on that.
Oh,
We'll
Ina, I
find
love
it.
you
It's not
too.
showing up
Thank
the little
you.
angry one though.
No,
Oh,
but
they
if
must
you
have
click on them
removed it.
all.
We'll come find you,
okay.
Andrew. When it's gone. So I think sometimes what happens is you go to be angry, but
I
you're actually
know.
really fucking happy, and you push the angry, so you're hangry.
No one pressed it.
No.
one
Di
pressed it.
says, "Go,
Thank
go, you. Well done, Amy. Getting your brave on works. Everyone's yahooing you."
So
Aw.
for those who don't know what power hooping is, and I'm sure, can you
Yeah.
explain what it
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Surprised you didn't
basically
bring one.
it's like it's an exercise tool that brings out your inner kid. So everyone's got an
Yeah.
inner kid, and it's like based on the idea. It's like a hula hoop on steroids. It's about it's a heavy weighted hoop, so it's designed to really
It is
strengthen
heavy.
your core muscles and make
That's
you
what we should have
lovely.
done. We should have bought one, and you
And
should
you
have
hooped.
done a practice.
You should have been hooping.
No, because I can only keep it up a minute. I've
Yeah,
got
that's
one.
okay,
That's
good. A minute's good. If you did a minute every day, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, you have to wear shoes. I might add, you have to wear shoes.
Yes.
Oh, you can
Learn
learn
that.
that.
You do, yeah.
Learn that
Shoes is
the
good.
hard way.
Yes, shoes is awesome. So it's got weight. It's a hoop with weights in it, so it's designed. It's about 70% more effective than a hula hoop, and it's designed to strengthen up all your core muscles. But the classes, we do all sorts of exercises with the hoop, like to strengthen all over, because it's a resistance tool. We have so much fun. It's like exercise has never been so much fun, and that for me is the key. I joined gym, and went about twice and paid for the rest of the year. But this really caught my imagination, and I know it's like not a fad, because 6 years on I still am so passionate about it. You know, I love it, and it's just I love how it brings those kind of fun people to that. So it's a fun form of exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like little weights that you
Yeah.
can put in. Now I'll just
Yeah.
tell you a funny story about those little weights.
What did you do with them?
So, because Lou in our area does power hooping, so she gave me the hoop with the weights, and she goes, "Oh, you won't need these yet." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I put them in my handbag. Then I forgot about them, and of course I went overseas, and there were 2 of them in there.
They look like bullets.
Yeah. Anyway, so I
Yeah,
got
like
pulled over at security, and he pulled them out. And he's like, "What are these?" And the girl behind me goes, "Oh, we know what they're for." And he dropped them quickly, and I was sort of like, "I don't what." They're for my, and they're like, so I was like, "They're for my power," and then everyone went, yeah, so embarrassing. But so that's my little story about my power.
Oh, there has
That is
been
classic. I
a
can
few
see-
airport
Yeah.
stories, that's for sure.
That's
Julie
funny.
Mewison says she loves you.
Oh, I love you too. Julie's
Pam's
one of our
what
She says
amazing.
you changed her life.
Oh, Julie.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. I was like, I think she does also love
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh, Julie's awesome. Julie runs classes in Beachlands. She came to start classes with me about 2 years ago, and now she runs her own. She's done an amazing job. Yeah, it's exciting.
Pamela Woolley says
Oh.
the sound's cutting out, but that could just be you, Pam.
Yeah, that's just your hearing, dear. Go and get your...
So Power Hoop New Zealand
Yes.
has come from Power Hoop UK.
Yeah.
They've asked you to do some work within their international business because of your amazing business that you've run here. Just give us, the viewers, an idea of, you're an international businesswoman.
Well, I created a program about 3 years ago called the 6-week challenge. It's a program which is designed to help people improve their lives, and I guess it was about not just exercising. Like, I'm passionate about everything when it comes to health and well-being, so it's not just exercising as a part of it. So it was a 6-week program to really help bring together all the aspects of health and well-being. And I guess they just liked it, and they wanted to bring it over there as well to help, their people. So it has, like, at first when I first launched it, I was like, is this going to work? But the evidence that I've seen since then, it has had a really awesome impact in many people's lives, and it's helped people grow in themselves and their self-esteem, and put themselves as a priority. So it's been really awesome.
So you've gone beyond Power Hoop now,
Yes.
meaning that you know that you're here to do more. Tell
Yeah.
us about the book that you've been writing, that was about to come out, and the talks that you do at the schools.
Yeah. So I feel like the Power Hoop was a tool, and it was there to help me share a message. Like I said a bit earlier, it was like I was shown this dark side, and now I've been shown the light. I feel I've got this message to share with lots of people, and I think that the way I'm moving forward is to do that. The book that I've shared is my own history with mental illness and depression and stuff, and how you know, how life is in that state, so people can relate to that and people can see how they can say, well, I know that that's maybe what I'm like at the moment, but my goodness, she's giving me lots of hope here that there is life after that. I wished back then somebody could have told me that there is hope, that there is life after this, because that would have really been awesome. But instead I had to find that out myself. But that's cool, because it was a brilliant journey. So I feel like with my talks, the talks I do is with teenagers and anyone really that needs to hear my message, but it's all around positive body image and, you know, learning to love yourself as you are, and giving you some really cool tools to do that, because obviously I've had to learn how to love myself and learn how to respect myself and to nurture myself. So I've used all these tools that I want to share with other people, and so I do that. And my goal now is really to become a kind of motivational speaker, somebody who can stand in big platforms and share my story with lots of people, and whether that be in schools, whether that be in various different places. I feel like that's where I really want, and this is from somebody that couldn't speak to more than 2 people at one time. That's how far I think you can go when you really do take yourself out of your comfort zone. And sharing programs like my new program, the Healthy Happy program, where it's like the habits, helping other people create that change in their life, so they can really doable changes in their life, not difficult, not hard, not time consuming, but something that's really doable on an everyday basis that will literally shift you and take you to a new space. So that's where it feels like I'm kind of going. And even in my power hooping, like the power hooping is I'm so passionate about what that does for people. So it's such a big part of it, because I can share my programs with other people that are doing the hooping as well. And with my coaches, it's awesome to see them developing themselves and them become more confident, and them, you know, creating these communities, because it's just watching other people shine is my real passion.
That's amazing, actually. When you were saying that, I was just realising that you're coaching the power hoop coaches to be better coaches, as in businesswomen, and actually helping their communities on completely different levels. Like, can you hear how amazing?
Yeah, it just
feels
incredible. Well, it's just, I love it. It's good.
Got any questions in there, P?
No.
So, Louisa Hamilton Rock, you're an inspiration. Amy, love the help you've given me. I've seen big shifts from your help. I'd love to know more about you giving up sugar and your talk on Friday. Is it a talk coming up on Friday?
Yes, I've got an event on Friday.
And Evelyn Foster, can't believe I'm watching you. Darling, come on, the Scots.
Hey.
Woo!
So Evelyn was the lady.
First ever class.
Yes, Evelyn was my boss at
cute.
the gym I was working at, and she was the one that introduced me to power hooping. So it's all thanks to you, Evelyn.
That's cool.
Did it. Yeah.
Tell us about the Happy 100.
The Happy 100 is a program that I developed about a year ago. I was with a friend and you. I was with you. Hello.
Was it me? Was it me? Because you have a lot of friends.
Yes, it was
okay,
when we were
I'll take the accolade. I was
the friend on that occasion.
We were downstairs with Rebecca, and we remember, and we met this incredible lady.
Rebecca's watching. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. And we were talking to this amazing lady, Sarah, who had told me about this list that she created, this 100 things every year that she wanted to do. And I thought, oh God, my to-do list is too big as it is. But she said, no, it's not a to-do list. It's like a list of things that I know that if I do, it's going to make me feel happier. And I was like, oh my God, now we're talking. So I went home, got myself a wee cup of tea. By the way, that's not tea, this is water. I was really excited for a coffee.
I was like, this is a studio, not a cafe.
This is not good.
Coffee.
But I went home and I had a cup of tea, and I wrote a list for 2 hours, and it was things on there like take my kids away for a night and go skinny dipping and just lots of crazy stuff, but stuff that I really knew that if I did it that year, even if I'm busy in business, even if I'm busy as a mum, whatever, no more excuses, start living your life properly now, because I was a bit top heavy with work. I think I was a bit like full on. And so I was needing that balance in my life. And so I created this list, I started sharing it, and I was like, I knew that other people were being quite inspired by it. And I think the highlight of that year for me, there was a few things. There was some big things like run a marathon, which felt like massive, but I did it.
Yeah,
but there was small things like the really important stuff, like take my kids away, and I took my wee boy away and I made him a little journal. We had a really special night together, and it was like I'd been wanting to do that for years but kept putting it off because I was too damn busy. So I was like, right, I'm going to do this thing and take him out. And we still talk about it. He wrote me a Mother's Day card this year, and he still says that was the best experience with me. So those are the kind of things, like, it's like I feel like I've been given this vision of being 90, looking back at my life and saying, how would you want to live your life now, rather than next year when I've got more time or when I've got more money or when I've got more whatever. It's like, no, you bring that into your life now, and the more joy you create, the higher the vibration you are in, and then you start attracting more better things into your life. So more people, I created this group because I knew that what was missing was the accountability. They were all saying they were doing their own list, but I was really scared they were going to put them in their top drawers and leave them.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm quite motivated and I'm quite action orientated. So, but some people can just, slip away and not put themselves as a priority. So I thought I'll create a group where we keep each other motivated, inspired and accountable. So we've got this group called My Happy 100, and the shifts that people are making, the things that they're bringing into their life to do now, even just like jigsaws or stuff that we might just put off because we're too busy. And it's been amazing just watching other people, and for me as well, because it's really keeping me accountable. I put try a hip hop class, and I started doing that a couple of weeks ago.
It's so cool.
It's just things like that, just little things or big things, whatever. It's trying to help people live their life right now and do things that brings more joy into their life now. And that's what that's all about.
I totally
It's a
love
freaking
that.
cool concept. You'd love that, eh?
I do.
You'd be like a joy list. Do you have a joy list?
I have a 42.
Yes.
So the year of my 42.
Yes,
So
that's what Karen has.
Karen
too, I
did
think.
that
yeah,
as
I
well,
got
yeah.
it from Karen.
Yes.
Karen sort of gave me that. Well, it's sort of like it came from Karen, but then the Hitchhiker's Guide of that sort of Bryn asked me, my son asked me a question, and because I was turning 42, it was sort of like all these concepts came together, and I was like, I'm going to do a 42 list. So I'm working through my 42.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. And it's such a great experience. I remember one day being down on the beach with Nigel, and it was like a hot sunny day, and we were on holiday, and
This
was
is
like
an R-rated program.
and I
It's
just
not.
remember, like, it was like way back at the beginning, I was like, I know what I've got on my list. And it was early in the morning, and it was like the sea was crisp, it was beautiful, and I was like, right, the moment is now. So I just was like, right, clothes off, run in, and God's sakes, the tide was miles out. And so ran in, did the thing, like the skinny dipping. But then because it was so far out, it was like, oh God, like we were starting to like dogs and children appearing on the beach. So I had to get out there.
Crazy.
But it was such a good feeling of doing these things that make you feel alive, make you feel like you're really just, and even though you're taking it, even if it feels a bit clinical, it still is so awesome to do these things once in your life, or lots in your life.
Yeah, definitely only do it once, because if something touches your leg in the sea, you freak out. Just saying. Hey, we've had a few. Nadia's asked, the group sounds amazing. How do we join up?
The Happy 100.
Yeah, Happy 100.
There's a website called www.myhappy100.club, and you can join there.
All right, so we'll put the link in the comments.
Yeah, Ames, when you get home,
Yes, I can
chuck
put up.
all your
Yeah, I
links,
can
all
put
your
it up.
links.
Yeah.
I'd love to know how you managed a silent retreat. Nice joke. Let's talk about, because I know a lot of the businesswomen who watch us, and for us, there's FOMO, right? There's this thing called FOMO, and I know that you don't mind us talking about this.
Yeah.
That there's at one stage there was a lot happening. So.
Yes.
From jamboree nails, power hooping, laughing yoga.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the laughing yoga. Reiki, because you're a natural creator, and I think because those of us who are, this is weird, but like addicts are addictive, and so we have a lot going on. Yeah. For you, how do you handle all of those things?
Yeah,
and
good
do you have any
question.
stories you want to share around that?
Yeah, that's interesting. You're right. I used to get this thing called, I think, shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's probably had that. And it's interesting because it's a form of procrastination. Yeah. And it was a good look. Every single thing that happens to us, it's a lesson, and I love seeing it like that. So anytime anything really horrific happens, I don't see it as horrific happening. I think, what have I got to learn from this? And so the Jamboree Nails was awesome because it showed me that I could make money really, really quickly, and I could create a team really, really quickly, and I could get myself, but it gave me I got no joy from it because I wasn't enhancing life the way I'm meant to be. I wasn't doing my purpose. I wasn't living my purpose. So very quickly the universe put a stop to that, because every time I went to damn well put a payment through, it wouldn't accept my card, and I had to phone America for half an hour, and I just got fed up. I didn't enjoy it. So I think the key is to So for me, it was like, well, why don't you put that energy into growing your instructors? Because I was procrastinating. I was trying to find something else to do. I was avoiding the sales. I was avoiding the thing that was scaring me the most. So what I would do is I would go off and do something else, because, you know, I could go and give my bash at that, and then, or I could go. So it was avoidance of the one thing that I knew I needed to do. So it brought me back to that, because you actually, I'm sure it was you that had that conversation with me, saying, look, what the hell are you doing? And why are you not putting that energy into growing power hooping? And it was exactly right. Why not? So there are certain things that come along and it's like, well, that feels like that's a right fit for me. So like I tried the laughter yoga, and I've met some amazing people doing laughter yoga, and I've got some connect, and that's helped me with my public speaking, because I met a lady there,
great.
Pat Armistead. So everything happens for a reason. I met Gareth Edwards, and there's just I never regret anything. Even if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You've got to try something. Reiki, I do every night on myself. I do it on my family. I do it in my classes. I give everyone Reiki. It's always something else to add a string to your bow. But as long as I feel like as long as it sits with you and it feels right, then it is right. That you can have your fingers in lots of pies, as long as it's not distracting you from your main purpose, as long as it's keeping you on your main purpose, I think it's okay. But for me, some things haven't been, so I've just learnt the lesson and moved away from it and got back onto the track.
Such a cool attitude. It's such a cool way to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you have to be. You have to sort of learn. I mean, Claire Conza was talking about when things don't sit right, you have to sort of go back to your core and figure out what it is, you know, work on yourself.
That's it.
So that you can, because otherwise another thing's going to come in the way, or another thing's going to come in the way, and you're never going to get there to your potential.
And you just get really distracted. But you're right, it's the work on yourself. I can't emphasise that enough. I think the more work you do on yourself, the more you find your purpose. I feel like I've never felt more on purpose. So I'm 100% sure that what I'm doing is right in this moment in time. And sometimes it's frustrating because you're not quite where you think you'd like to be, but you have to be at that stage. You're exactly on track as it's meant to be. The whole journey is exactly as it's meant to be. So I think that's really cool, and as long as you keep learning from your lessons, then you won't have to. I think if you don't learn the lessons, they're going to keep showing up in different forms. Until
like
you
harder
learn.
And bigger.
Yeah, harder and bigger.
So to keep yourself on track all the time, is there something that you do to keep to your purpose or your values? Are you like Nat and I, who journal? I mean, do you journal and keep yourself grounded, and
definitely.
how do you keep on path now that you've learned that these are distractions? How are you avoiding those?
A lot of mindfulness stuff. I do obviously my exercise. That's a huge part of my life. That keeps my endorphins, and it just keeps me really focused. What I eat is massive. I've learned so much in what I eat. Like I'm really in tune with what works for me mentally and physically. So I eat and I'm not like 100% like, you know, but I really feel like food is so food and eating, water, and then the meditation has changed my life. That 3-day retreat with Karen, I did the 3-day silence retreat, apart from talking to a dog twice. That wasn't my fault, that was the dog's fault, because it came up to me.
Because it spoke first.
Yeah, it did. But apart from that really set me on the journey for meditation. That has helped me so much. Meditation and quieting this busy old mind of mine. And finding myself, I'm sure that's helped me spiritually and get so much more in connection with myself. So it's meditation and journaling for sure. Gratitudes. Every single morning I will write down with my boy, like he does it with me. We write down 10 things that we're grateful for and just get into that space of gratitude. And when I did your course recently, which was amazing, and I'll love your course, the sales course, and it really, because I must admit, the journaling was my biggest struggle, because I didn't know what to talk about, and so
dear diary,
hello, it's me. What did I write about you? You know, it was really struggled, but you gave me some really cool tips in your tools in your course. And now I journal every day, and I've been journaling about this program that I'm launching, and I'm journaling about my intentions and what I'm creating, and I love it. So I'm really in touch. So journaling for sure. There's lots of Reiki. There's so many different things. I've actually got an app called Chains that I have to every day I write down I can tick the things that I need to do to keep my mind focused.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's called Chains. I'll put that up as well. It's a really cool app. So you tick off at the end of the night all the things that you want to do daily. So meditation, gratitude, journal, exercise, 2 litres of water. It sounds really clinical. And it feels like I brought all these tools in, but I'm too scared to lose them in case I go off track again. So it's like, these are the things that I know work. It's like my wee Bible.
I think that's the most important thing, is finding those things that work for you.
Yes,
You know, like
that's
with
it.
journaling.
Absolutely.
Like, I journal, but mine is usually around sales. Like, you know, I'm going to make this amount, and it's about financial. Like, I get a real kick about, I'm going to make this amount of money this week. So I, you know, and then I journal my programs as well. You know, that's where all my amazing thoughts
absolutely.
come. Yeah,
so powerful.
So it's like, what works for you, finding out what works.
Yes,
and
that's
even
key.
When you,
that's key.
Like I was talking about this today in a live, even when you know what your things are, like I was talking about the gym and how I haven't been going. I know that I am so schedule focused that if it's in my calendar, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
So what do I not do?
Do you don't schedule it?
I don't schedule in the gym because I know, so, you know, I was talking about that today. So that's my procrastination because I'm like, wow, it's not in.
I know, it's not happening, I know.
So knowing what's right for you and then, you know, being aware of you doing it.
And trying new things. I recently tried the EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique. I do that every day as well, and it sounds really creative, and I don't let anyone see me doing it because you do feel weird. But it is amazing, and I share that with my clients because it's really powerful, and that's made some real shifts. But you're right, just find what works for you and do it. The consistency is like what you say to your sales. It's like, just be consistent.
Yeah.
It's actually, and consistency, you know, once you find just consistency in your life, it then just comes and flows into your business. You know, it's about finding what are you naturally consistent at already. So what's next for you now, Amy? So you're launching something new. Is it Amy Being Amy in a blog? Like, tell us what that is.
So I'm launching a new site which is called Amy Being Amy, where I'm not Amy power hooping, and I'm basically me sharing my views of the world and my views about different things and my experiences as well. So quite frank experiences.
Frank's
Quite
in the
Frankie,
house.
there you go,
Woo!
Frank. So we're going to bring Frank into that. So Amy Being Frank. That's the name of the blog. And then
Frank Amy.
Frank Amy.
And so that's about to be launched this week. And then also the thing that I had this, when I was doing your course again, I had an inspiration to create a 21-day happy habits program where I can share the habits that I do on a daily basis and help people with worksheets and audios and inspiring posts about how to create healthier habits in their life so that they can then show up and become much better versions of themselves. So I figured the 21, I looked at all my habits, and they're not all, it's not hard, it's not like, you know, it's not like, oh my God, I don't have time for 21 it's like some of them are really tiny and will take you 4 minutes. So it's like, but it's letting people, it's giving people the opportunity to try something new in their life and creating a healthier, happier life for themselves. So that program I'm launching on the 1st of July. It's online and it's exciting. I'm so aligned to that program because it feels so exciting, the change that I know people can get from it. I just feel it's the right thing.
Cool. Make sure you put the links up.
Yeah.
So for the businesswoman watching, what do you think, what are your top 5 tips? They can be business tips and or health and wellness tips. We always ask our guests for their top 5.
So I would say put yourself first. Make sure you prioritise yourself primarily, your health and well-being. Don't become a frazzled martyr, you know, like become
That's good.
but that's too negative. I want to keep it in the positive. So look after yourself, put yourself as a priority, make sure you are doing your work on yourself, like your self-development, your exercise, your eating well, because it's how you'll show up to your business and it's how you'll show up with your energy that you need to have
I
for your
agree
business,
with that.
isn't it?
If I didn't look after myself through health and exercise and nutrition, I couldn't.
I know.
Couldn't.
Well, you could,
You
but
couldn't.
you wouldn't do it as well as you do.
You'd
I
be
can't
a hot
talk on this
mess.
subject because I'm not going to the gym.
That's not
You
the
just
only
would be
thing,
a
though. You
mess.
do your other stuff, but it's part of it. So I would say that, and I would also say comfort zone is just step out of your comfort zone every single day. That's one of the things about the Happy 100. It's like magic always happens when you step out, even if it's a small step. Just do it. Step out your comfort zone and feel how confident that will bring you, the confidence that brings you. start to believe in yourself and get rid of your money issues. Like, there's a really cool book that I'm reading at the moment called Jen Sanera, You're a Badass at Making Money or something.
You say, thank you, I am.
Yes, start to get a really good relationship going with money. If you're in business, you need to have a good relationship with money energetically, and show up the best you can be, step out your comfort zone, and believe in yourself. It sounds so damn cliched, but the more you step out of your comfort zone, the more you see evidence, the more you look after yourself, the more confident you become. Affirmations, bring them into your day, like affirmations about how successful you are already in your life. Get intuitive, meditate, because as soon as you become in touch with every single person on this planet has a purpose. We're here for a reason. And as soon as you start to get in touch with it is when you can start living that purpose. Whether that means that you're at home looking after children, it doesn't matter what your purpose is. It can be anything. It could be that you're, everyone has got a purpose, and you'll know it because it feels so right. If you love doing something, it feels right, that's your purpose. So find what that is, and look after yourself. And be happy, bring more joy into your life now. Bring more, as a businesswoman, it's so easy to get so focused on working crazy hours. I have done that, and in the first few years of my business, I did do that, and I got so obsessed with my business that I was starting to get blinkers onto other areas of my life. And it wasn't until that I really started at Happy 100 that I realised you need that balance, because we need to show up to our life. So we need to have boundaries, because if you don't show up to your business with boundaries and balance, I'm going to use those words again, frazzled martyr, because how can you be effective as a businesswoman? How can you be effective as a mum or a wife if you don't have that energy? So if you look after yourself, everyone will benefit. Your clients, your customers, your children, your friends, your family. Everyone benefits. So don't think it's selfish, because it's actually the opposite. If you don't look after yourself, that's selfish. And if you live life in the now, live it in the moment, bring more joy in now, you're going to just shine, and you're going to fly. Your business will fly as a result of you looking after you.
That's wonderful. I've spelt martyr wrong, but we're just going to roll.
M-A-R-T-Y-R.
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 Yep.
I think.
We're like this. We're just going to fly with it. Ames, they were amazing tips.
Cool. Good.
You have to make sure I have to say tips properly and not some of them I said something else the other day.
Well, you certainly would be saying they're amazing tips to me.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
Amy
me.
is going to make sure that she puts the links to her Healthy Habits program, her Happy 100, and power hooping, because power hooping is a great way to get into your community and get happy and healthy and build great habits.
And it's a lot of fun, I have to say.
Yeah, that's the key. Thank you. Yes.
Yay! Thanks for having me on the show, Pete. Apologies for all the tech stuff at the front
at the beginning.
But that's what freaking happens, right?
That's what pros are like. We've got this amount of time into our show, and then we're like, it's the rain. Yeah,
I think it might be the rain. Get out there, guys. Have a great week. We'd love to know what you got out of the show this week. Let us know in the comments below. We've got another incredible guest next week who confirmed yesterday. It's super, super exciting. We can't do the show without you guys, without the audience. Otherwise, it really is like literally not talking to anyone. So appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks. So those who are watching on the replay, thanks for being with us.
Forget about the replayers.
Yeah.
Hey, replayers.
All right, so that's our show. See you later.
Bye. See you later. That's how fast it's gone.
Yeah, that flew.
It flew. All the guests always go, we just got into it.
Oh.
And we go, yeah.